Good afternoon. It is afternoon officially, 12 o'clock. How is everyone today? I hope you're all doing well and enjoying this amazing day. Oh my God, we're having such a lovely day in London. I hope everyone else is having a good day, wherever they are in the world. So yes, today we've got Eden Blackman on today with me today, and he is super excited, as am I. Hello everyone, how you doing? Yes, Eden's going to come on. We're going to talk to him about how he's been getting on with lockdown, what he's been up to recently, and also some exciting plans for when we get back into normality. So yeah, I'm super excited to chat to him. We met quite briefly on a TV series we did a couple of years ago, and have just stayed in touch ever since. So I haven't seen him for quite a while because I've been away and he's been doing things and projects and stuff. So it's going to be really cool to catch up and do some stuff. So that'd be nice. And then as always, I've got some questions to ask him at the end and some things to just to pick his brains at and see where he's at. But excited for this one. Good afternoon, Eden.
Hey Jack, how are you?
I'm very well, thanks. How are you?
I'm really good, thanks. It's a beautiful day.
I was going to say, you've got your Hawaiian shirt out to match, ready for the
Yeah.
sunshine.
Well, it's nice to put some clothes on. It isn't a t-shirt and jogging bottoms, you know.
I know, right? Absolutely. Have you got a nice place to go out into the sunshine? Have you got a garden or something?
I've got a little kind of back of the house. It's got a little kind of. It's called a Japanese garden that the
Yeah.
previous owner, and it's just got a kind of. It's got some bamboo and a hammock and a bench, and it's a little bit of a sun trap as well. So I might get out there a little bit later.
That sounds amazing, fantastic. But how have you been anyway? Where are you in the world? Are you in London or are you out in the countryside somewhere nice?
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm in my house in West London, and I've been here since 2003, but more recently I've been here since lockdown. So yeah, it's insane.
And are you on your own, or have you managed to keep
Now
company
my
with someone?
girlfriend's here. She's kind of been here since kind of when it all began, I guess, middle
Yeah,
of kind of March. Yeah, yeah.
fantastic good
Me,
stuff.
my girlfriend, and my.
Fantastic. And how have you been coping? Has it been weird, or have you enjoyed the downtime? How's it been coping for you?
It's been odd, hasn't it? Let's not beat around the bush.
Yeah.
It's a very odd experience, and I don't think any of us will ever experience anything like this again. Not only just being so restricted, but also kind of when you do go out, the scenes that you're seeing and the kind of like, I mean, I live in West London. I'm sort of seeing it's kind of being looked after here. They're kind of adjusting to it, but there's some days where it just feels like it's like a bank holiday or a Sunday. There's still cars going past. I'm in my home office, and I look onto essentially Ladbroke Grove, and there's vans going past. There's cyclists. There's Ubers. There's delivery guys. It's a weird one. It's a very odd situation. But in terms of how I'm coping, I think I'm doing all right. Actually, I think the first couple of weeks it was odd, and everyone, you were just talking to people, going, "What are you doing?" Like, well, absolutely nothing. Yeah, me neither. That became this kind of. And then I hit a bit of a wall. I think 3.5 weeks in, I was like, I'm starting really to sort of lose it and not have that ability to just run into town and go out for a drink or book a restaurant or even go and see a cinema or walk around a shop. It's the kind of things that you do on a day to day that you really miss. And my gym is just down the road in White City House, and this time of year I'd be getting on my bike, cycling down there, and I just desperately want to get on my bike and go and do a session, which is, I remind myself of that in about 3 weeks after lockdown, and I'm going, no, you know what, I'll skip it today.
I know it's
So
brilliant how
I've been okay.
everyone's in that boat of like, oh yes, I'm going to be, trying to get back into good routines when I get back into things and everything. But let's be honest, everyone's just going to want to be going out and seeing as many pieces as possible and having a good time and partying and all the rest of it, which we fingers crossed we'll be able to do. I don't know how it will ever be the same as what it used to be, but fingers crossed we'll make it work. It should be good.
Yeah, yeah, I hope.
When I spoke to you earlier in the week, you gave me a little rundown of what you've been up to and how things have been going, and you've got some exciting stuff happening later this year, which I'm sure has been put on the back burner a little bit. But
Yeah,
talk to me about that. You've got a dating app, am I right? Are we allowed to talk
yeah,
about this?
I mean, yeah, of course we are. I mean, I think people that watched Celebs Go Dating kind of knew that I had a number of other sort of business interests, and
Yeah.
you know, one of them is my PR company that celebrates 20 years in November, which is astonishing that this thing's been going for 20 years, and the clients we
Congratulations. It's
represent.
amazing.
You know, thank you. It's been amazing. It really has. It, you know, so that's one of them, and then the other one was I had a dating app that I set up a couple of years before Celebs, and really did Celebs to get profile within that sort of area within dating, because I'd done dating TV with Loose Women and This Morning and all those kind of things, and was seeking investment. And I literally, you know, without being around the bush, got it to a level where it was sustainable, but needed some investment. And with everything that's kind of been going on, I've had to take my eye off the ball with that. And we're getting back into a new app. It won't be called Would Like to Meet. Would Like to Meet has been rested, but it's certainly, I kind of look at it as Would Like to Meet 2.0. We've, you know, it's the verification angle of the whole thing and making sure the pictures are real and recent,
Yeah.
which I still understand is the biggest bugbear of every online data with catfish and the nonsense that goes on.
Is
But
that
we've
really
kind of put
okay?
some other stuff, yeah, we've kind of put some other stuff into it as well. So there's three of us that are doing it. Really close friend of mine that works in TV, and a guy she introduced me to who's incredibly well connected at CEO level in terms of investment and brand, well, basically building brands and getting kind of things built and getting them put out to the world and keeping them going. And it's been really fun. It's been really good because it's kind of like, hopefully we'll get to see, as I say, I call it Would Like to Meet 2.0. It's not called that. We've got a fantastic name, which I'd love to tell you about, but I'm not going to. But it was lovely to see that concept of verified dating and all it can add to the dating world, you know, live and hitting the UK. And, you know, as everything, we've got plans for worldwide, but we just want to take, if we can conquer the UK, then I'll hopefully be launching it in North America, because it's a place I've always want to spend some time. So yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. And right now is a great time to be doing it because everyone's really discovering online dating. I did
Absolutely.
an interview. I did an interview last week for radio, and because I'd seen some numbers that apparently online dating has gone up by 35% because people are just
Wow.
going, well, I've got no other option.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
so yeah,
It's exciting because, you know, it's funny, the online dating world in my eyes used to just be, you know, you had Match.com and those sorts of internet based websites, then you had things like Tinder, and that was pretty much it back in the day. And now you've got all these
yeah,
apps that are almost so specific. You've got ones of, you know,
yeah,
people that work in certain jobs or from certain backgrounds or certain ages or certain religions or whatever it might be. It's such a diverse, you know, mix, and you can almost
mm,
find the exact right dating app for you. But then I suppose with this
yeah,
whole corona thing and everyone being at home, as you said, it's probably thrown a big spanner in the works with lots of those companies, and there's probably been room for a whole new load of ones to
mm,
emerge, i.e., you know, and for example, your business. And so are you going to be adapting what you had before to what you had plans for before to into what kind of is looking like going to be the new norm going forward? Or are you going
yeah.
to?
It's I mean, we're not going to sort of you know, redesign the wheel. We you know, I've always had a passion for being on a dating app and seeing pictures that, you know, weren't exactly true to the individual you were going to meet, and that always was a bugbear. And it, you know, it's manifested in this term catfish, which, you know, we all know about now. But you're right. I mean, you know, Match.com was the very first dating website, which is why everyone refers to it. I mean, it started in 1994 in New York City, and it was just
Wow,
literally New York City, and it grew and grew and grew. And
crazy.
up until Tinder came along, there was definitely a stigmatism to being on a dating app. You know, you could kind of say to your mates, and I had situations where I'd say to a mate, you know, mates that I've known for years, and you can really exchange stuff you've been up to and with no judgment. But then you say on a dating app, they're like, "You're on what?" You know, my life hasn't got that bad even where I need to be on a dating app, and now everyone's on it. And there was some numbers a couple of years ago. They think there's 15 million single people in the UK, and
Wow.
around then, 12 million single people using online dating. So it's like over
Gosh.
2/3. So, you know, if you know, you're now in the minority if you don't use a dating app if you're single, which is, you know, maybe 10 years ago it was complete opposite. It was like you're at the end of your life if you're trying to find somebody on a dating app, which is insane.
It is insane. It's almost become that thing as well where it depends on what type of app you're on. It depends on kind of the sort of dating you're looking for, if that makes sense. You know, whether
Yeah,
you're just for something that casual, so a bit more serious, depends on which app you're on rather than if you're on an app at all. So no, that's fantastic. It's exciting. So you've got plans to launch that hopefully within the next couple of months into this year. But yeah, TBC on that one. TBC. Fantastic.
Yeah.
And I wanted to touch on a bit of kind of all the guests I've had on recently. I've been talking about lockdown, and I've been talking about mostly what they think they have learnt from being in lockdown and things that you kind of took for granted maybe beforehand. What do you think your biggest takeaway from being stuck at home, not having to be able to do the things you normally do on a day-to-day basis is? And what do you think you're going to take forward into essentially the new chapter of the world that's going to be after this whole thing goes away?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I mean, in terms of what I've learned about myself, it's that I always had a sort of a faint suspicion that I was incredibly good at procrastinating. And like I would go, oh, can I do that? You know, there's something I need doing and I'm working during the week. I'll do that Saturday, and then Saturday comes and it's Sunday, and then it's still there. And I used to have a phone on my phone, a list of things to do, and they just stay there. And particularly when you're in your own house and there's really nothing to do, you know, I'm doing emails, I'm doing my PR stuff and getting involved in dating apps and other stuff that I'm dealing with right now. But you're still staring at that kind of like that shelf that needs, you know, putting up, or that wall that needs painting, or those racks that need building. And it's proven to me that I just need to get on with it. And I mustn't start putting things off, because putting things off never happens. And they're just there like a kind of like a, I don't know, it's like a kind of ghost that just keeps saying, I'm still here, I'm still here. And then finding that when I do these things, I feel fantastic. And it can be as big as, you know, I've got the side of my house. It was a bit of a dumping ground, and you put, you know, your kind of seats and whatever it was you didn't want in the house. And I just bought a bunch of like really great industrial racks and spent the whole day building these racks, drilling them against walls and stuff like that, and then racking it out. And I honestly, Jack, I couldn't have been happy. I keep going out there looking, great racks, Eden. You know, this is something nobody will ever see. It's just for me. It's just. And it can be something like that, or it can just simply like making brownies at weekend, or just, I've realised that I have to, when we go back to the situation where we are technically working Monday to Friday, you know, 9 till 6, and you have that time off, make use of it. You know, I'm really good at lying around and not doing anything, or just, I'll watch another, you know, Last Dance on Netflix, you know, which is amazing.
I need to watch that. I've heard it's fantastic. Because people have said to me, it's like, because up until this point, Icarus has been my favourite sports documentary on Netflix, the cyclist one. Yeah. And I mean, that blew my mind.
It goes one way and goes the other,
I think it was the first documentary on Netflix to win an Oscar, I believe. Maybe my things mixed up. Anyway, it was amazing. And then every single person I've spoken to about The Last Dance has said, nah, next level, mate, next level. It's really, really good. Yeah, I need to watch that.
Well, they're two very different. I mean, Icarus is amazing in the sense that, you know, the storyline that the guy goes to make a story about, you know, about doping in cycling, and then it goes, and he's right in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And it's an incredible documentary. But The Last Dance is about, you know, Michael Jordan's career with the Bulls and how it started and how he came to be, and all the players around him and the backroom staff. And you don't have to be a basketball fan. I mean, I like American sports. I managed to play baseball for Cambridge when I was a kid. I love American ice hockey. Last time we were in LA, went to see the Kings play, and it was just amazing. So basketball isn't really a sport that I really kind of involve myself in. But man, we watched the last two last night. I just went, he probably is the greatest sportsman that ever lived, and particularly with my, you know, insane fetish for trainers. Jordans are just like, you know, the ones you get. So it's a really interesting Netflix thing. But I digress. I enjoy binge watching bunches of series, but just doing stuff and not putting things off, and then realizing the self joy and self worth of having done something. And like I say, it can be, you know, knocking down walls, or it can be making cakes at the weekend. It's just like, well, I did something.
Yeah, exactly. It's about keeping yourself busy, but in a way that's not feeling like you're doing nothing for doing something for the sake of doing something just to fill time, you know. And I think it's really, I found particularly with me being a freelancer and have been for, you know, 10 years, I'm used to having lots of time to myself and lots of time off. And so for me, this whole being at home all the time doesn't actually bother me so much. It's about, I get more anxiety over the fact I feel like I'm not making the most of it. And, you know, so I'll
Yeah.
spend some days literally get up and I'll exercise and I'll do this and I'll read that book and then I'll do this course and then I'll write that and then I'll get on a live and I'll do something else. And by the like 9 o'clock at night, I'm frazzled and I feel like I haven't actually done anything for me. It's just been kind of filling time. So the one thing I've learned about this particular section of lockdown is just to sort of understand that the balance is really, really important. You know, giving yourself time to do things like watch Netflix documentaries if that's what you like doing, or baking cookies, or going for a run, or reading a book. You know, I get really into reading. I've ordered probably like 15 books since I've been here, and they're just piling up next to my bed.
Right.
And
Right.
yeah, 'cause I kind of feel like I don't have time to read in sort of normal life, and
Mm.
I love reading because it just gives me so
Yeah.
much to think about, and it just changes my perception on lots of stuff. And so if I pick up a good book, like I really struggle to put it down. So I'm sort of almost putting them right next to me, next to my bed. So I'm forcing myself to keep, you know, and I've done 4 so far in lockdown, which has been pretty good. I'm
Yeah,
reading
absolutely.
David Goggins. Can't where is it? Can't Hurt Me. This one.
Okay.
Have you read it?
Oh, right. No, I don't. I don't know. I don't know who he is, what it's about. So
So
educate me.
in a nutshell, David Goggins is basically a Navy SEAL, but he is the
Right.
most I'd probably say the most unrealistic person to become a Navy SEAL at the point in which he was training. So he was this huge 300-pound overweight guy um, who. Oh, hang on, we've lost connection. Hello? Oh, you're there. It went. Can you hear me, Eden? Can you hear me, Eden? Have I? Eden, can you hear me?
There we go.
Sorry, that was probably my fault. I'm living in a block of thousands of people, and it probably just everyone decided to go and watch a
No
video at
worries at
the
all.
same.
So I heard you say he was 360 pounds and then it went completely
Yeah.
quiet.
So
Why?
basically, so David Goggins, right? This guy here was originally. You might be able to see it behind here. There was a picture of him. He was 300 pounds, and he was trying to become something in life. He never really did that well in school or anything like that. And he basically fought super hard to get into the trials, and then he was told that he was overweight, so then he had to lose loads of weight, and then he studied super hard to get in his test results. Anyway, the book is essentially just a sort of a real motivator book about how you can just totally take a really impossible task and just overcome it by sheer determination and applying yourself
Wow.
in every aspect. And I love it because I've started doing lots of Ironmans in the last kind of like year or so, and I
I
ran
saw.
my first one in Dubai just recently in February. It was actually what kicked off my sort of travels. I was meant to be running another one next month in Nice, but it's obviously been cancelled. But I would love to do, you know, an ultra marathon one day and do some, you know, crazy track challenge like that. And every single person I've spoken to has said, read that book. It will motivate you to want to push yourself to the absolute limit. So, yeah, if you ever feel like
Wow.
doing some crazy sports challenge, David Goggins' book, it's definitely
what
worth it.
what's the difference between an Iron Man and an did you say an ultra Iron Man or something?
Yeah, no, no. So I want to do an ultra marathon. So an ultra
Right.
marathon is essentially anything over the marathon distance. So they usually go in 50 kilometers or 100-kilometer or sometimes 100 miles races, and they're sort of, you don't sprint run the whole way. You sort of walk run, but they
Of
take
course.
almost a whole day to do. And then an Ironman is obviously the ultimate triathlon, which is swim, bike, run. So yeah, I did a. They have two types of one. They have a 70.3, which is the amount of I think it's kilometers you do. Yeah, no, yeah, no, kilometers you do. And no, miles you do, sorry, 70.3 miles. And you swim 1.9, you then bike 90, and then you run half a marathon basically all in one go. So yeah, I did that in the Dubai heat back in February,
Oh
which
my
was
goodness.
it was fun, but yeah, I've never experienced cramp like it in my entire life. Like my legs felt like they were three times the size and were
Yeah,
made
of
of wood.
course.
It's
Because
no
you're
give.
completely
It was,
dehydrated. Your salt levels are through the roof. It's like everything's.
oh, I literally came off it and I was like, yeah, I could have, a fish and chip shop could have used me for the afternoon. I was that salty. It's horrible. But yeah,
Wow.
that's super super good book for just like motivation. But yeah, it's one thing that's kind of kept me sane during this whole time is keeping exercising and having like mini goals that I'm working towards and doing
Yeah.
things that keep me, you know, active and that sort of thing, which is good. Um,
Wow.
so with regards to where you are right now in terms of like, you know, what's going on with the business and everything like that and what you've learned,
Hmm.
what do you think is the hardest thing you've found in terms of keeping yourself motivated to keep doing the things with the dating app and keeping your business afloat and keeping yourself from not staying in bed all day long and watching Netflix
I,
under the duvet?
so,
What's been your
so specifically during lockdown, we're talking about now, right?
yeah, exactly. What's been your sort of motivator to just not keep yourself, you know, in a bit of like, oh, can't be bothered today. It's just another day, like Groundhog Day. What's stopping you from being Groundhog Day for
Yeah.
you?
Well, I was really fortunate. And this is going to sound odd, but I'll have to explain. I used to have an office literally opposite my house, and I had it for 10 years. And then the way the business moved, and the amount of time I was spending there, particularly when I was kind of filming series, it became really obvious that I didn't need this office. So I kind of looked at the business last year and spoke to my landlord, who was just incredible. And I said, look, I'm not sure if I'm going to need this for long, but what's the deal? And he went, we can rent that out. It's such a great office tomorrow, so don't worry about it. So I actually I closed my office and moved everything out literally the last day of February. So
Oh wow.
we step into March, and I've got this little setup here. Just got myself a decent desk and got myself some speakers, and really, really enjoyed the fact that I wasn't going into an office and I was working from home, and really felt refreshed about is kind of in a sort of very much a kind of in a kind of mental way. I was like, I felt so more energized about moving forward and getting involved. And then obviously, you know, 10 days later, we're not going anywhere. We don't
Yeah.
use offices. So I've been very fortunate in the fact that I was already mentally prepared to be working from home and doing a lot of video chats. And before this insanity, this banana situation we came in. And I think that's really saved me, because I think if, I was spending a lot of time working from home anyway, and I was doing sort of meetings in town. And had I not had an office, it would have probably bugged me that I had this office that I was paying rent on, that I hadn't stepped in since February. But I think what kind of motivated me was, this is a new, I don't want to say new chapter, but it's a new place to work, and there's a different energy in my house, as there is to an office. It's without going into detail, but I saw the house in 2003 when I was moving. I've got a flat on Ladbroke Grove, and I was keeping that, but I wanted to buy a house. And it's true what they say about a house. You walk in and you just go, oh, and I fell in love with this house the moment I saw it. It was, funnily enough, it was a beautiful warm day like this, and at the back of the house, the last guy, who was an interior designer and architect, had taken part of the garden, which is why it's a small sort of Japanese one, and built into it and put this glass ceiling in. And I walked in the summer, and it was this incredible.
Oh, hang on. I think we've lost. I think my Wi-Fi dipped out again for a second there. Can you hear me? I, I can't hear you. That's the only that's the only thing. I can't hear you. Hang on. Can you hear me? Okay. Can you hear me? No. I can't hear you. Let's try this once more. Right. Let's see if we can get this third time lucky, everyone. I'm really sorry about this. I think next. I think I might have to start doing these with Squadcast. These are going to be the. Then I can start actually getting them the decent recording on them.
Hello.
Eden, you go. That's better. Sorry about that. It's, you know what it is. I think it's just it's either Wi-Fi or something going on. I'm in a building block in Brixton, and yeah, I think it's just.
Right.
I think it might even be that everyone's either streaming their music outside with the sunshine, or it's just one of those times of days. But yes, I was just saying. I think maybe from here on out, I might start doing these on Squadcast. Squadcast I think is the new way to go. It's like this. But it's like a podcast video based kind of app, and you can record things like this, but it also has really good sound recording as well, and then you can use it for whatever it might be.
Right. Okay.
It's like virtual podcasting. It's good. It's really, really good. One thing I wanted to talk to you about was what do you think we've spoken about what you learned about lockdown and what you're going to take forward and everything else. What do you think you're most grateful for, in the sense of what do you think you've taken for granted up until this point, which you're now super grateful for that you've got in this very strange time?
I mean, I've really missed just not the freedom of being able to go out. Just it being just going out on a night. Just not having not some huge elaborate dinner at some incredible restaurant, but just going and having a couple of drinks somewhere. I live and work in Lambeth Grove, and you can imagine what Grove's like. It's Portobello Road and Notting Hill. There's somewhere to go, and they're all shut. And I'll enjoy popping into a pop-up restaurant or something new that's come along, or a pop-up bar or something. And I've really, really struggled with not having that opportunity just to cut out. And if something goes really good at work, I get an incredible account in, or I get a real good break one of my bands on Radio 1 or whatever, there's an element you celebrate. You're like, oh, do you know what? I'm going to go out. And of course we can't. There's only so much you can kind of do on your own, or on Zoom parties and stuff like that. So I think I said to somebody the other day, I don't think I'm going to turn down an invitation out for this year. Definitely, and maybe into next year, because just the ability to go and see people and chat and talk and physically be with people, kind of like be it dinner or a cinema or a restaurant or bar or something, or bumping into people. And I've lived in this area for like 20 years, and I know a lot of people here, and of course you just bump into them and you see them and you catch up. I haven't seen people for a couple of months now, so I think just thinking the freedom being able to go out, like I said a moment ago, get on my bike, go and train for an hour, or just wander around. It's I think that's the thing I'll hopefully never forget, having that freedom to be able to do what I like when I like in London, because we're very spoiled living in London. Everything is pretty much available to us until till about 10 weeks ago.
Exactly.
So I think we'll really appreciate that.
It puts a lot of things into perspective, particularly London, as I'm sure you've lived here for a long, long time. It can be sometimes a bit of an oxymoron. It's beautiful, it's amazing. There's all this stuff going on, but it can sometimes be almost all-consuming, and it's hard to sometimes leave it, right? And I found that when I went away just recently, that coming back to London, I was excited because I'd been in India and places like that, and it was a total different experience. And I was excited to come back and just get stuck back into London. But now that London isn't kind of the same as it once was, it's almost this realization of like, well, what has London actually got to offer? Is it the people that you're there with? Is it where you live? Is it the surroundings, or is it the bars and the restaurants and the clubs and the opportunities and the the theatre and all the rest of it? And so it's a really interesting time to sort of really take a step back and go, what do I really like in life? Am I in London for the right reasons, or am I not in London for the right reasons, or whatever it might be? So, but it's lovely that you've got a great network of people around you that you've built up over the years, that you're looking to, that you can
hopefully get back into to seeing soon. With are the markets and stuff all open still around Portobello, or are they all closed?
No, I mean, Portobello Road, is for the people that Washington don't know, is it's about a mile and a half long, and it is panels. And I walked down there about 10 days ago, and there are simply essential fruit and vegetables.
Yeah.
And it's weird seeing it because I moved here. I think I bought my flat like 97, 98. So, and the first time I walked on Portobello Road, I walked from one end to another, and I spent 5.5 hours walking down Portobello Road and back because it was full of second-hand rock T-shirts and vinyl and incredible kind of Indian furniture and all this stuff that I used to be kind of really into. And now you can do it in about 15 minutes because it's essentially the same stuff. It's dodgy phone cases and knockoff T-shirts, all the stuff you see sadly on every kind of high street now. But it's been odd not having that opportunity to just go for a wander down it. It's always good on a Saturday and a Friday.
Yeah.
But right now there's no more than 5 stalls open.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, Brixton's the same. So it's only the essential fruit and veg.
Yeah.
And just to give the Sainsbury's and the Tesco's a bit of a relief, I think it is, because they're otherwise they're just going to be packed and the queues will be too long.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And you've got you've got that amazing food market, haven't you? Which is every time I go to Brixton Academy or something, I'll always go in there because there'll be some insane, I don't know, like Mexican meats, I don't know, Brazilian or something, or Mexican meats, Yugoslavian, or this ridiculous. It's just incredible. I guess that's totally empty.
It is, yeah. There's a few fruit and veg stalls open, but that's it. The fishmonger's open and the meat guy, but that's about it. It's literally just essential stuff. No, it's crazy. Yeah. But as you said, like, it's London is still quite busy. There is people about. Like I go out most mornings for a run, and I'm still avoiding people almost every other step. So I think it's going to be hard to keep things really quiet in London. But no, I think it's things are. They feel a bit more normal than they were in the beginning few weeks, but it's I think it's still a long way to go. Still long to go. One thing I did want to touch on was obviously you and I met when I was on the Celebrities Go Dating first series all those years ago, and obviously being I know, right? How many years ago was that? It was like 3-4 years ago.
2016.
Yeah, so 4 years ago. Wow.
It was the summer of 2016 I met you.
Yeah, so that was so funny times. I still have people go to me, "Were you on that show?" I feel like I recognize. It's one of those like, I think I've seen. But in terms of obviously all the shows that were planned to be this year, i.e. the Celebrities Go Dating, the Love Islands, the sort of the real big winners for the TV networks that are now not happening. How is that going to impact the sort of the industry going forward? Do you think it's I mean, obviously it's going to hit it hard, but do you think there's going to be a room for doing other shows that maybe are in line with how the world is right now and how it could be going forward? And from sort of a PR perspective, how would you deal with that? And how are people approaching this lockdown and how the world's going to be?
Yeah. I think what this has proven is that you can do a very cheap TV show from inside your flat or your house or your kitchen or whatever it is, because there's a bunch of those that have been popped up. I mean, it's essentially what Gogglebox have been doing for years. It's like just put some cameras in the front room, give them some cake and record what they say. And it's genius. Everyone loves it because you're like, I've always thought the next kind of Gogglebox 3.0 would be me and you watching people on Gogglebox, watching people on other TVs. It seems like a mirror thing. I figured that would be the next one. But I mean, I think what it will do, it will prove that you can decent TV for not an amount of money. How it will affect programs, how it will affect channels will be huge, particularly the ITVs and the Channel 4s and the Channel 5s, because they're paid by advertising. And if if you're not making new creative interesting TV, the advertisers aren't going to want to pay the rates that they would be paying on a brand new, Love Island, as opposed to another edition of, Jamie's Cookery. And I love both shows, so I'm not dissing either. But it's really going to affect. It's going to affect people's budgets. It's going to affect people's salaries, and it's obviously going to, as we know, doing Celebs Go Dating, everyone is pretty much everyone on the show is freelance.
Yeah.
So.
I've lost you again. I think I've lost you again. We lost Eden's. We lost Eden's sound again just at the end there.
There we are.
I was wondering whether it was just me or whether it was. But I think it was a few other people that couldn't hear you just at the end there. I think it just. I think it went quiet. It's okay. It's all good. Eden, before I don't want to take up any more of your lovely afternoon in the sunshine, so I wanted to just ask you a quick round of 15 or so quick fire questions, which I've been asking a couple of my guests, which are just funny things about lockdown and things. If you're happy to answer them, then we'll be ready to go. Okay, so
yeah, as long as I can hear them, because you're cutting in and out. So I'll do my best I can.
No problem. All right, what is your favourite takeaway or favourite Deliveroo you've been going for this lockdown?
What is my favourite
Deliveroo?
Okay, so there's an amazing restaurant on Labatt Groves called Fez Mangon. It's Turkish. It's chicken on the spit with rice.
Ooh, amazing.
Incredible.
What's the best thing that you've made throughout the whole of lockdown?
It's the best made. Probably, yeah, it would probably be my my chocolate brownies I made last weekend. They're exceptional.
Like it. Other than The Last Dance, what is the best series you've been watching on Netflix?
Oh man, on Netflix.
Or on any of the streaming programs.
I think one on Netflix. I've been looking up on. Probably Killing Eve. I've been sort of obviously religiously watching that, and I've been watching Celebrity SAS as well.
Yeah, that's good. That one this year. It's they've got some interesting characters in there. It's good. What is the best book that you've read recently, and what has it taught you?
Okay, so probably the best book I've read recently it was kind of last year on holiday, but it's still in my mind. It's a book called Daisy Jones and the Duke, and it's essentially it's fiction, but it's essentially the characters are hugely based around Fleetwood Mac. And it was, without dropping names, but it was recommended to me by Fern Cotton, my girlfriend, pretty much at the same time. And I read it when we went to Mexico last year, and just like you said, I couldn't put it down. And there was an amazing twist in it. And I was walking around the room at the hotel going, oh my God, but I didn't want to tell my girlfriend because she was going to read it. So I had to text Fern going, I just got to that point, and she was like, I know. And we're having this kind of conversation about a book. It's just, I didn't learn a lot from it other than it was a great book to read. And I probably told about 20 people to read that book. So David Jones and Six. Amazing.
David Jones, I need to get that book. That sounds awesome. I love a good read. Describe yourself in 3 words.
Oh God. Stubborn. Procrastinate and self-deprecating.
Good stuff. What's the first thing you do in the morning when you get up?
Look at my phone, and that's a shocking thing to admit. Shut my phone or let my cat in the bedroom.
Like it. At least you're honest. It's good. I mean, to be fair, there are mornings I do the same thing. It actually helps me wake up because sometimes I'm just like I can't get up. Where's the first place you want to fly once we're allowed to go abroad?
It'll be a summer, a beach holiday. I haven't decided where, and there's absolutely one coming. We were fortunate to go to Mexico last year for my birthday, and it will be something along the lines of that, or maybe an LA trip. I don't know. I can't wait though.
What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Always go with your gut.
Like it.
If you think something's not right,
go with your gut.
Isn't, and you need to react.
What do you think is your greatest strength?
Determination, and I mean that in the sense that if I feel something needs to be done or it needs to be seen through, it will absolutely be seen through.
What day of the week is it?
Today is Tuesday. Tuesday?
Tuesday. I think it is Tuesday.
If you don't know, I'm gonna tip one of my favourite things. So there's a band I look after called Steel Panther in LA, and they are just the best guys in the world. There's probably some backstage passes and stuff. There'll be stuff behind me which is theirs, and I've worked with them for 10 years, and they've been doing this thing every day where they've been doing this kind of song where it's like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, what fucking day is it? And they get like artists to do these kind of things, and they are getting progressively funnier by the day. So check out Steel Panther. You don't know what day it is. They're telling you every day on Instagram. It's genius.
Amazing. I'll have to check them out. You have to send me their handle. I'll give them a follow.
Tuesday, isn't it?
It is Tuesday.
I haven't got a watch on me. It is Tuesday. Yeah.
No watch live. Yeah. It's good. Eden, thank you so much for spending your afternoon with me, and thank you everyone for tuning in and watching us. If anyone wants to find you on social or wants to get in touch and ask you about anything we've spoken about today, where can they find you? Where's the best place?
So Instagram or Twitter, it's just at Eden Blackman, real simple.
Fantastic, good stuff. And look, have a lovely rest of your day. I hope you enjoy the sunshine in your lovely Japanese garden. And if anyone has any questions for Eden, feel free to drop them a DM, or you can drop me a DM and I can forward them on to you and everything like that. But yes, thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. And look after yourself. I hope to see you again in the near future, hopefully in person. We'll go for a drink on the
yeah. When this is all done, I keep saying I'm going to get a bar bill.
Yeah, it'd be good.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
look after yourself.
Care,
I'll speak to you soon. Pleasure. Take care, mate. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. I hope you enjoyed the chat we had with Eden. As I said, if you want to ask any questions, or if you've got anything you want to query him or myself, please just drop me a DM or drop him a message. We'd love to hear from you. I'll see you guys tomorrow for another live. Have a lovely day. Enjoy the sunshine. Peace out.